WDAS-FM 105.3, of course, your adult mix with your adult topics. And Mimi's book picks of the month, the book that we have chosen, With Eyes from Both Sides, Living My Life in and Out of the Game. It's the life of Thelma Wright. I'm Mimi Brown, and Thelma Wright is with me for part 2 of our series of understanding what it's like living in and out of the game. Welcome again, Thelma. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Well, you know, it's a pleasure just to have you as you open up a little bit of the story, because indeed we want you all to read the book, so we're not going to tell you everything, okay? Read the book, and we're going to talk about it all together. But it seems like that your parents really liked your husband, Jackie, but may not have liked what it is that he was doing. Did your parents, and it seemed like they knew what he was doing or knew what you were doing. At what point did they kind of find out, or were they happy that you were Jackie because they thought that he was just going to watch over you?
Well, initially, they had no idea what he did.
Okay.
I said he was in real estate. I told my parents
That's a good one.
And then my father had a friend who found out and knew who he was and told my father who he was. But they did love him. They loved him dearly. They just didn't like what he did, but they felt as though he took very good care of me. So it was kind of like a mixed emotion kind of thing, but they really did love him.
And you became, in your own right, a businesswoman, as I know that you had your own store. I remember going into it and really buying a lot of suits and quality bags. It was a beautiful store. That was just one of your stores. And things that I remember about you is Atlantic City at a Whispers concert. And you were walking down the aisle, getting ready to go in. I think you had front row seats. I had back row seats. And you were walking down the aisle, and you were a few women that were with you, girls, you know, your girls. And you had on emerald green, but not a dark emerald green. It was the most beautiful color of emerald green because you have green eyes. Fox fur hat. Fox that was dragging the floor. The emerald green suit with the fox on the sleeves, the fox around the collar. I have never seen anything with this gorgeous bag. When you walked in, you said, "Hi, Mimi." I said, "Hi, Thelma." I mean, you just look like a princess. What about fashion? How important was that in your life, and did you enjoy just like getting dressed up?
At first, it didn't mean anything to me. I was a tomboy. I grew up being a tomboy, so I wasn't really interested in dressing up and makeup and things like that. When I started dating Jackie, he suggested that I start wearing makeup, and I guess he felt like I needed to have a more feminine twist to my side. But I went to a charm like school. Stephanie Kane School actually started back in, I think it was like 79, 80, and I went there and I did some modeling and hair shows and things like that. So it became important to me because it was important to him.
Right.
And then it just, you know, it was just something that I developed and something that I picked up and that I did enjoy. I did enjoy dressing up.
So is that what led you into your own business, being an entrepreneur and having your own stores?
Well, when Jackie and I were married, he always used to tell me that, you know, I could have my own business and what was it that I wanted to do. And we had a friend at the time, associate at the time, that was involved in the furniture business. So I started out doing that.
Right.
And things got really crazy in Jackie's business, and there was a war that went on, and he sent me away. And I had to close the store down. But then after his death, I decided I wanted to go back into business. Well, probably prior to his death, I had a sportswear company in Los Angeles.
Yes.
And I started doing custom-made tour jackets and jogging suits for athletes and entertainers. And I really enjoyed that. And I kind of parlayed from that into men's sportswear and silk things, and then into my own boutiques. And that's how I got started with that.
We're talking with Thelma Wright. With Eyes from Both Sides is the book. It's Mimi's book pick for this month. Living in and out of the game is the life story of Thelma Wright, and we are speaking with Thelma Wright. What was it like moving out of Philly into your big, fabulous home?
Well, we
with
left
room and no people, no peeps.
You know, it's funny. I came from a family. You know, my parents, mother and father, were at home. I have 5 other siblings, so it was always a lot going on in our house.
Yeah.
But when we moved to Jersey, and it was just Jackie and I before my son Jakeem was born, it was good. I mean, because I could always come over to Philly and be around people and hang out with my friends and do things, and then I would go back home to quiet enjoyment of home. So So it was really good. And I adjusted well to, living in Jersey as well as living in Los Angeles. So it was really good.
And the sad part, of course, as we said on our last interview, was when your husband died. And but then you became, as they say in this book, the queen pin. What drove you to become a queen pin?
Well, it was something that kind of just fell in my lap. As I write about in my book, With Eyes from Both Sides, one of his associates spoke to me at the time of my husband's death. He came to see me to pay a tab that he had with my husband, which was exceptional, for that time, and any time actually. And he spoke about, well, we needed to move on, we needed to go on, and I didn't understand at first what he meant. And he said, well, I need to live, and you're going to need to live and take care of your son. Maybe you can make things happen for us. Mm-hmm. And so I spoke with my husband's connection at that time, and they said, definitely we can keep this thing going, and you'll be safe and you'll be fine. So it kind of just fell in my lap. Mm-hmm. And I had a good run, as I write about in my book, With Eyes from Both Sides. I had like a 4.5-year run before things, began to crash and fall down all around me.
Wow.
In every way you can imagine. So it was just something that happened.
So actually you were just as good as any man in the game.
Yeah, I held my own. I had to. I had to. So basically I lived in Los Angeles. And I made moves, all across the country, a lot in Philadelphia, but also in Detroit, in Cleveland. I had people, I had someone in Florida, so I did pretty good.
Were you fearful? Were you afraid?
Not at first, because, the way I did things, I was safe. People kept me safe. I really didn't have to really do too much except make things happen, make the connections, and collect my money. So I was pretty good, and I stayed on the move. I was never really stationary. I was where I needed to be. I had good people around my son that could take care of my son. He spent a lot of time with my family in the summer. So I could make moves and do things all around my friends and my son, and no one never knew what was really going on unless you were involved with me, unless you were doing business with me. And I only did business with people that I felt comfortable with, that had a history with Jackie, or they came highly referred to me. I knew that, I felt very good that I could trust these people.
When did you decide to pull away from the game? Or was it decided for you?
I decided very abruptly I would say in 1991, things started to happen. I talk about this in my book, With Eyes from Both Sides.
Yes.
One of my dear friends was killed out in front of Studio West. Mm-hmm. That was in July of 1991. Within a week or 10 days after that, one of my people was arrested. And then within 3 weeks or 30 days, my connection in Los Angeles was killed. She was in the wrong place at the wrong time. So it was a thing where I just knew those 3 signs were, the signs that it was time for me to get away from that life and get away from anyone who was involved in that life.
We're talking with Thelma Wright. Her book is entitled With Eyes from Both Sides, Living in and Out of the Game. Thelma Wright, what are you doing now?
I am working with a nonprofit organization, or for a nonprofit organization. I deal with women who have transitioned from drug and alcohol treatment and some mental health issues. And I work as a property manager. Working with these women is my way of giving back. I work as a big sister, a mother, a grandmother. I run community meetings and just interact with them in every way you can imagine. So to me, it's my way of giving back and contributing to a problem that I was part of. And, it's very fulfilling for me at this time, in addition to promoting my book, With Eyes from Both Sides.
Well, definitely you have to be really fulfilled with your son, Jakeem, who you have raised. I think you're an excellent mother. He graduated from college. Aren't you excited?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
It's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. You have to read the book. This is the real story, With Eyes from Both Sides by Thelma Wright. The last question that I have for you, Do you have any advice for young women or even men that are either in the game or either thinking about getting into the game? What would be your advice to them, Thelma Wright?
My advice would be to stay away from the game. It's a no-win. You're either going to go to jail or you're going to be killed. You cannot beat the system. It's just not worth it, you know. And I know it's very difficult out here, but there is a way that you can do things, and definitely the game is not the way.
Thank you so much, Thelma Wright. Her book is entitled With Eyes from Both Sides, Living in and Out of the Game. Read the story. It's Mimi's book pick on WDASFM.com. Make sure you leave a comment as well, because we want to talk about this book together. What do you think about the book? What inspired you about the book? What did you like about the book? We'd love to hear from you. Always leave a comment. Let us know that you read it. And you can also hit me up on Twitter. I'm Mimi Brown 3, and that's all in caps. Are you a tweet or twit?
Yes, I am. You can follow me at Thelma B. Wright. Also, you can purchase my book on my website at www.thelmabwright.com and Black and Nobel at Broad and Erie.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Read the book. We're really excited. Thelma Wright, right here in our studios of WDAS 105.3, your adult mix.